I think females will never understand a young boy's interest in construction sites.
Sure, there's just a bunch of new shit to go see.
Your head is just like, what is in there?
Right. Well, and yeah, it's almost like they don't help themselves by putting a lock on it. It's almost like, and there's probably some psychology to how they put that green mesh up now, because now you kind of don't even get to see what's in there, so there's no peak of curiosity. But before, it was truly just chain link fence with a big lock on it, and you're like, and of course they never locked it tight. You could just pull it apart and slide through. But yeah, you're right. There's just something there. Stacks of wood,
just nails. Like just fun stuff for a kid.
Yeah, it's fun stuff for a kid. I'd like to complicate it, but it's kind of not complicatable. No, so I went in there, and my buddy Richard goes, look at this thing, and back to our point about kids thinking fire and flame and fireworks and shit that makes loud noise is cool. When I was even younger, so now I'm even older, picks this strip up that you put into nail guns. And for a visual representation to the listeners, it's like a plastic strip with bullets in the strip. And the bullets are equal to a 22 bullet. They've got the an equal amount of gunpowder as a 22 bullet. They just don't actually have the slug.
That thing shoots into the nail.
Exactly. The nail is the slug in comparison to a bullet.
This is the gunpowder.
Yep.
Essentially for
a gunpowder
the bullet.
Cartridge.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a strip of gunpowder cartridges that you put inside of a nail gun, and they use it to, and we've heard it, right?
Yeah.
You heard it? Yeah. That actually gives me very huge goosebumps. And I used to think it was the nail gun, the chick, 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 when they're on the roof just going chick, 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 chick. No, it's that one they put in where they shoot it into the concrete when they're trying to secure a 2x4 or a piece of wood to the concrete, and it's like a gun. Anyway, so found one of those on the ground. Friend says, hey, pick that up, hit it with a hammer, it'll make a loud noise. So what do you do when you're 13 years old or whatever?
Sounds like a great idea.
Sounds like a killer idea. So I take it home. And what's funny is the night before this all happened is I'm in the garage, and I took the shelf out of one of the built-in cabinets. I was a little more cautious. And I set the bullet down on, I think, the countertop of the cabinet. And then I take the shelf and I put it on top. And I hit the shelf. Talk about fucking so stupid as I relive this. I hit the shelf with a hammer on the top really hard. So I kind of sandwiched the bullet between the two shelves using a hammer for the force. And it kind of goes off. But it was a muffled sound, and my mom comes out. And this is why being honest is so crucial. That's why I just bang honesty on my kids all the time. And she comes out, she's like, what the fuck was that? And what are you doing? Oh, nothing. I was looking for something and the cabinet fell. So being my mom and probably used to the millions of excuses I'd given her for the dumb things I was doing, she's like, okay, fine. I'm going back in the house. So she goes back in the house, okay? Next day, I go to school. I come home. Here's where things get wild. I don't know if you've heard this actual part of the story. So I'm on the phone with Morgan in my boxers, my Pink Panther boxers with my gold chain. And I was in 6th grade. She was in 8th grade. And I was, you're just trying to create validation. It's kind of dumb to even go through this again. But you're trying to create validation and approval and see what makes you feel good and get people to, say nice things to you. And I go, hey, so what makes you find me attractive if I'm in 6th grade and you're in 8th grade? Because this is kind of interesting that you're an older girl and I'm a younger guy and we're in middle school. That doesn't normally work that way. She goes, because you have really pretty eyes. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I have something for that.
So I'm literally holding the phone with my shoulder, the old school. Yeah. Isn't that funny? You don't even do that anymore.
The cordless one?
Yeah. The first with the big old antenna.
Yeah.
So I'm holding my shoulder and my cheek, and I'm fucking with this bullet, and I'm sitting on the step coming out of my garage. So the man door of the garage, and then you step down and onto a step and then into the garage. So I'm sitting on the step of the man door garage, and I'm playing with that bullet, and I'm playing with the hammer. And the first one I set the bullet down, I'm real cautious. And I go to let the bullet go, and I go to hit it, and the bullet falls over.
Oh, so you took it out of the
I
plastic
did.
case.
I took it out of the plastic case. Yeah, I
That's
pushed it
what-
out. Good. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, I pushed it out of the plastic case.
You're just hitting uncontrolled gunpowder cartridges.
Yes.
Okay. I've always wondered, how did it get out of the plastic case? Because it's so thick.
It wasn't easy. It was very hard to do. Yeah, I remember actually.
You were smashing a raw cartridge. I didn't know
raw
that.
cartridge, yeah.
I thought, okay, now it's even stupider,
All right,
right?
it was even dumber. So I have it out, and I set it there, and I go to hit it, and it falls over. So finally, of course, frustration builds and trial and error builds, and I'm thinking, okay, so I got to just let go fast and go. So wham, and I fucking hit it, and it explodes, and I felt it go into my body.
Well, did you hear some tings, ricochets?
No, I just felt my body be pierced, and I wasn't sure where it was, but I felt that something had entered me.
Just
Literally. And it went silent. It was like, because immediately I went into shock. I'm like, oh my God. And I blinked, and I saw blood shoot out of my left eye with my right eye.
over your nose, the bridge of your nose.
I just saw blood shoot out.
Like,
And
explain the shoot, like vertical.
no, not like a pulsating shoot. It had
Like a
punctured
splash.
a splash. It had punctured my eyeball, and then obviously started to create blood instead of tears. And when I blinked, I saw blood come out with my good eye. So I, of course, panicked. I'm like, fuck. And I'm home alone,
Yeah.
you know. Talk about the guards and the guard gate and the logic behind my mom's decision making. So I dropped the phone. Phone's done. I run in the house. I look in the mirror, and I see blood all over my face, all down my chest, because, again, I'm in my boxers. Okay, growing up in Spanish Trail is a relatively keep to yourself community. There wasn't everybody's on the street hanging out. That just wasn't the lifestyle or the culture of the community. But I did have an understanding of the guy who lived across the street from me, because he often let me wash his car so I could pay for things. So I just panic. I hit the garage. I run across the street. I'm banging.
What time is it?
Probably 3:34.
Bright.
Oh, yeah.
Kid running across the street,
Yep.
bloody, no shirt, Pink
no
Panther
shoes,
boxers.
Pink Panther boxers, black and Pink Panther boxers, running across the street, bang on his door. So obviously all in panic and adrenaline and shock. And I didn't even wait. I just turned around and started running back. So obviously it took him a second to get to the door. He gets to the door, he sees me running, and he's like, "What, Josh, what's up?" Or whatever he says. I turn around and I see his face.
Oh,
Because he didn't see me in the beginning, because I was running back. I'm like, oh my God.
it's that bad.
It's that bad. Okay. So I run it. I just, stiff arm him right into his house. And I go straight to his sink. And I just remember turning his water on and splashing water on my eye. And I just keep seeing blood going all over his dishes. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so bad. Ugh, just thinking about it gave me the chills.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So I go into his bathroom. I've never been in this guy's house. Somehow I found his bathroom. And I grab my eye and I open my eyelid, and I close my good eye, and I can't see shit.
Ugh.
Like nothing. All I saw was purple and blacks and light. I'm like, I lost my fucking eyeball. I'm thinking I lost my eyeball. So
Hearing and sight are two scary things to lose. And you're sitting there looking in that mirror like that's...
I just blew my eyeball out. So if you think about this, when you're younger, the fluid inside of your eyeball is very, very, very thick. And it's thick probably because you're young and you're susceptible to injury. As you get older, that fluid becomes very, very, the right word's probably dense. As you get older, it's less dense, for easier words. So if I had been a 50-year-old man and hit that thing in the same spot, and it went into the same spot of my eyeball, it likely would have gone straight to my brain and killed me.
Yeah, and I've had experience that with my family, is a bullet at that speed, it's only strong enough to get in. It's not strong enough to get out. So it would have ricocheted in your brain a few times, further damaging the brain tissue. So that's one of the dangerous parts of that story. It wasn't just the eye. It was the potential
of my mom driving home, after long days of work, clicking the garage. Garage goes up slowly, and I'm sitting on the ground dead.
Brain dead. I mean,
Brain dead. For sure, brain dead.
Yeah.
If not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
don't make fun of his eye when you see him.
you can make
I
fun
saw
of it
him
now.
almost fight a female at Crystal Palace. She called him Cat Eye.
Yeah.
And I think you were so insecure as a human that I don't think you know how to handle that.
No, man. And young like that, and then people making fun of your deepest insecurities. That taught me a lot of grit too, which I'll get into that. But so we'll just jump over this thing. So that guy calls the ambulance, the 911, and they roll up and they wrap both of my eyes because obviously this eye was catching all of my atmosphere and it kept moving. So then it was moving my bad eye. Anyway, they wrap both of my eyes. So now I have no sight, and I'm in the ambulance, and they're no, what happened? Checking his vitals. They give me to the hospital. This was one of the biggest moments of there's probably about 5 big moments of regret with my mom, which probably is too many, but it's what it is. Is I'm laying there, can't see anything in the hospital bed, and my mom comes over and she leans over me and she's just like, and I'm just like, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. And she's like, I don't care about that. I'm going to get you the best doctors. I'm going to get you the best doctors. I'm going to do everything that I can for you. We're going to get through this. I don't give a shit about what happened. You're going to be in the best hands. And I just remember thinking like, holy shit, like talk about unconditional love, you know? Like she didn't even go into a space of you fucking idiot. What the fuck? I can't afford this. How can you do this to us? She was like, we're past all that. You're getting nothing but the best, which obviously I would have that same feeling with my children. I'd beat the shit out of him after. But
yeah, you'd have to eventually. As soon as the doctor's like, he's 100% okay.
Now I'm going to fuck him up.
Here we go.
So I just remember her leaning over me with that fear in her voice and love.
At that point,
and
it's
compassion.
just love.
Yeah,
like,
it
I
was.
love you so much and I need this to be better. Like, we'll deal with whatever it is. Your mom's always loving.
Yeah, that was that. So unfortunately with this whole eye thing, long story short, 4 eye surgeries later, sclerocal buckle or whatever the proper term is, and I healed and I was able to keep my eyeball. But something about manifestation that I want to go into on that one. The nurse comes in, so everybody's telling me he's going to lose his eye. 100% he's going to lose his eye. It's
like
not even
glass eye.
Yeah, like they're talking about
the next step.
The next step of matching the eye colors and whatever other terminology that goes into.
And you're hearing all of this.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, and I'm a victim to it. Obviously, I put myself in that position, but I'm sitting there in the hospital bed hearing my mom and the doctors, and there's just. We're going to see if the organ lives, if it survives, if it can hold fluid, because the eyeball is a compressed thing. It's a compressed thing. It's like a balloon. If you puncture it, you've punctured its membrane that makes it impenetrable and puts it in a position to maintain pressure. And I've now cut the perfect organ open. So they're debating all that, and I remember going in the bathroom, and in the middle of the night, I think I was there alone, or I highly doubt I was there alone, because I can't imagine my mom left. But let's assume in my world I was there alone. I walked in the bathroom and I peeled back the bandages, and I remember just forcing my eyelids open, and it was nasty red, nasty red. There was no white, and it's because the whole eyeball filled with blood. So I remember thinking, yeah, that's fucking bad. So I just remember thinking it was bad. So a nurse comes in, and I sit and I ask her, I go, hey, do you think I'm going to lose my eye? And she goes, well, here's a story I can tell you. And she goes, I have another kid down the hall over here that was playing swords with the Christmas paper wrapping tubes. So the long ones, like a paper towel tube.
Yeah, the ones you shout in.
Yeah, but times 10 because it's a Christmas, it's wrapping paper tube. They put knives on the end of them.
Wait.
And
okay. Talk about being mischievous.
I think you'll see how I had so much faith in my scenario.
Yeah.
So they put knives on the end of them, and they were playing swords, and one poked the other in the eyeball, and he's going to keep his eye. And so from that moment on, I just held on to that belief and that thought that if this kid got stabbed in the eyeball with a knife and I just got my eyeball punctured by a little piece of metal fragment, I'd keep my eye. But I just kept believing it. I'm going to keep my eye. I'm going to keep my eye. I'm going to keep my eye. I'm going to have an eye. And then my mom would, of course, probably come in. That's probably where some of this coaching came from. I can't be honest in saying that I remember her telling me this, but I would imagine that she did. You're going to keep your eye. You're going to keep your eye. And over time, it just quickly healed. 4 eye surgeries later, it healed, and I kept my eyeball. But I think that was probably one of the first steps in my life as I learned without understanding it or defining it as the power of manifestation, but just believing one thing and having it manifest. Because the fact that I kept my eye, I was able to tell all the doctors in my own way, told you